I don't even know where to start. So I've been meaning to finish and release this video for a whole month, and it hasn't been easy. It wasn't a smooth ride with this car. I want to talk about that. If you want to see my final thoughts on this, I'm going to put this at the end of the video. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't a smooth video to make. As you can see, I have the engine in pieces right here. Here's the car. All their parts, all engine parts are sitting there. So yeah, if you want to see what I really think about the car, you can just skip forward to the end of the video. I did get to run it a little bit. You'll see that, but not for too long. So if you want to hear the whole story, I'll see you at the end of the video. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Busted Nuts RC. My name is Pernell, and this is the new one. But first, again, thank you to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the comments, the suggestions. I know one of you already told me what car I should do next. I think that's going to be the HPI Vorsa 4.6, the Truggy. So again, thank you so much for the support. And yeah, this is what I got. I was trying to get this video out sooner. We went out of the country, we went to see Formula 1. I don't know if any of you guys are fans. This was a nice surprise to have waiting for me, so we're gonna be doing this. This is the Hyper VS2 by Hobao. As you know, they make this in Nitro and electric. Of course, this is a Nitro model. I'm excited. It has a bunch of different features that seem different. I know it has the quick release servo tray, and you can actually move it to change weight distribution. You know, they have pretty beefy metal shocks. I'm seeing this one has pivot ball suspension steering in the front, more aluminum. There's the steering has a top aluminum plate. The steering rack, obviously, shock towers. The top of the diff is also aluminum. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at this up close. Of course, we're gonna break it in. We're gonna take it out. We're gonna see how it does. So let's take a closer look. Okay, so let's take it out of the box. As you can see, owner's manual. All that good stuff. There's the glow plug. It's a platinum turbo plug because that's a turbo engine. Transmitter, I'm expecting to see the same as the Hobao Hyper SST. Here it is. I don't like these transmitters, but again, they work. We have the wing, the rear wing. We have some wrenches. We have the handle for the pull start, air filter, and yeah, that's it. Here are the tires. Here's the car. And let's get rid of the box. So, nice colors. I like the body, kind of stylish. Let's take it out. Well, no need, but here's the body. The thing is, with the light, the colors probably look a little off, but it looks pretty neat. I like it. The rear post, you can see it here, it's actually horizontal. It's a quick release. That's what they call it. That's interesting and different. Okay, so let's get started with this. Right there, you can see the quick release servo tray. Of course, you just like undo your servo horns, and watching the video, I think you can actually just like press it down and then remove it. We can attempt to do that. And then you have 3 different settings here for weight distribution. So I guess you can just move it forward or backwards as you need it. That is kind of neat. As you can see, pivot ball steering, suspension arrangement. Suspension, Hobao is great about this, like always beefy stuff. Turnbuckles on the steering rods here. The steering rack itself, it's metal. The top plate for the steering is metal. There's a plastic piece on top though. Shocks, all metal. And actually, they are pretty thick. I like that. Front and rear. Shock towers, everything looks pretty good. It looks great. The sway bars, they're pretty thick. I have no idea
what size they are. They're not stamped, but they look pretty thick, especially the rear one. Here we have the Hyper 30 turbo engine, same engine that I had on that Truggy, the SST that I reviewed. I like it. I mean, it's quite a bit of power, so I'm assuming this buggy is gonna be pretty quick once broken in and stuff. We talked about this engine before. I think this is made by Force. I think I went on their website and I found basically the same engine, just different graphics. But I'm not completely sure, so don't quote me on that. Like I said, this is a 30 turbo plug. Comes with the cups, full start, which means it's crank off full start, meaning it's not riding on the crank. The one-way bearing is not riding on the crank all the time. So I like it, though. It comes with a green handle, that handle right here. So the thing is, you need to be carrying the handle. If you forget it, you're gonna have to be pulling it from here, and your fingers are gonna get sore after a while. But like I said, they changed a few things. Now the steering servo horn is aluminum. Now the throttle one is, oh, it's also aluminum, I think. That's great. Top of the diff, aluminum. The servo tray itself, aluminum. Here, I don't know if you can appreciate it. You have the mounting point for your digital switch or maybe a transponder. That is neat. Axles look pretty thick. Actually, they're substantially thicker than anything else I have. 2 brakes. Yeah, it looks really good. I know they redid the differential casings to prevent leakage. I know in the past I had Hobao stuff or RWMods. Sometimes, like after a while, they will leak, but I think that's pretty expected if you use it for a long time and don't service them. Nevertheless, they changed the design. Supposedly they're pretty leak-free. Again, I believe this is a 125cc tank on the 30 engine. It's a 3-needle carb. And there's a pretty good video about this engine by RWMods from Rex Welch. Rest in peace, buddy. I'll link it to the comments or below, I'm sorry, so you guys can learn more about the engine if you want to. Everything seems kind of stout. Here's the chassis. There's quite a bit of adjustment everywhere. Seems like you can change the mounting points on the lower hubs, the top of the hubs here. I'm sorry, down here. Here, obviously, you have the turnbuckles are very thick. Also, like the aluminum shock towers are pretty thick. And again, there's this thing, quick release. So I guess you don't need a clip for this. So you just slide the body on it, and that's it. And you just have a clip in the front. That's pretty neat. Yeah, it feels great. Looks great. I mean, this looks high-end. So I paid $5.99 for this, no tax, free shipping. I mean, I looked for a while, couldn't find it any cheaper, and it took a little bit to ship. I don't know why, but here it is. It's pretty nice. I think the most important thing is like see how it runs with this engine. Like I said, this is the 30 engine that comes in the Truggy, and the Truggy is substantially heavier than this. So I'm excited to see how it runs with it. They're the same servos that I had on the Truggy, it seems like. But yeah, it's higher end than I anticipated. Yeah, it seems pretty awesome. I mean, like I said, it's $600, so it's not the cheapest. Actually, it's probably the most expensive buggy out there, ready to run Nitro Buggy. It does feel like it. It seems pretty well put together. So we're gonna break it in, and then we're gonna run it and see what it does. So let's go ahead and break it in. Okay guys, I got you zoomed in. Let's go ahead and remove the servo tray, and let's also check what battery we need. To remove the tray, you need to undo your servo horns. I already did that, this bolt and that bolt. So just pull them up gently. And correction, this one is plastic. I just felt that. This one is aluminum, so we pull them both out, get them out of the way, and then you're gonna pinch these two tabs and lift. And then there's another tab here that goes inside of a little socket. So you're gonna lift, push back. There we go. And then you have the servo tray out. I think that's a pretty neat idea. I like it. And this was my concern. The battery box seems pretty small, honestly. And my guess is it's gonna take this type of battery. This is from my team associated Truggy, Nitro Truggy. So it should be the same as the Buggy. There's two. And yeah, it is pretty tiny. So definitely, if you're gonna buy this Buggy, make sure you order the battery ahead of time. So there it is. Same as the ProTech type. I think, if anything, I think the reed is like slightly thinner. So this is what you're gonna need if you get this Buggy.
Okay, so where to start? This is a Hobao or Hobao Hyper VS2 Nitro Buggy with a Hyper 30 turbo engine that I have in pieces right here. Yeah, it wasn't easy to make this video. A lot of things happened, and that's why it's taken me so long. I mean, I had this car for I think over a month now, but then things just went south. So what happened? I went to break in the car, like in most of the videos. I show you guys the car, then I go to break it in. Tank 1 of idle went fine. I mean, it started fine and the car will idle fine. Temps were okay. Everything was going okay at that point. So tank 2, the pull start on the engine broke. I had to buy a new one. I didn't want to do a warranty claim for the pull start because I didn't want to wait too long at that point. So I bought the new pull start, installed it on the engine, and I started doing tank 2. I also tried to use one of my starter boxes. The only one that actually fit this car was a 7-year-old box, and it actually died on the process. It couldn't turn the engine over. I had to wait for the new pull start. It got here. Like I said, I started doing the other idle tanks, and then I noticed like the engine wasn't running fine. After I was done with idle tanks, and I was supposed to like drive the car. I usually like to drive it in a circle or figure 8. Anyway, the car wouldn't take any throttle at all. It will idle fine, but any throttle input and it will just die. So I was like, well, I can't believe the tune or the carb settings are so far off that it wouldn't move. So I tried to like set all the needles and stuff, and it wouldn't make a difference. I talked to Hobao Racing USA. They said, oh, we're gonna send you a new carb. And so they did. They sent me a brand new carb right there. And I thought, well, that's cool. In my opinion, I didn't think it was a carb. The thing is, I didn't want to take my carb apart in case I need to send this back to them. I didn't want them to like deny my warranty claim or whatever. So based on the details that I gave them, they assumed it was the carb. In my opinion, it wasn't at any point. So anyway, they sent me a new carb. I installed it. I went ahead and told them same thing. The car is not running fine. I think it has another issue. I was gonna ask them if I could tear the engine apart to see what it was, or maybe have them tell me, well, send us the engine, whatever. So anyway, they just said, you know what, we're gonna send you a new engine, and the engine is in the mail already, so I should be getting it this week. So yeah, what happened? After just looking at the engine, I saw that the front bearing in the crankcase, the bearing itself spins freely, it doesn't have any play, but the seal in the front is actually pretty dented. So it was just like, it was puking raw fuel. the front. And at some point I thought maybe it was me spilling fuel with the bottle. But when I looked at it close, I realized that yeah, the engine, when it was running, it was just like puking fuel out the front. So it's sucking air in, and of course it's never gonna, like, you know, tune, so it's never gonna run fine. So they're sending the new engine. That's great. I'm gonna be putting this thing together, I'm gonna sell it and move on to the next car. But what do I think about the car? You know, it's great that they did the quick release servo tray that is metal. It is great if you want to clean it. The fact that you can move the battery box to 3 different positions to move weight distribution, that's great too. It is a super beefy buggy from end to end. Everything is so beefy. Control arms, drive shafts, axles, everything, the shocks, the shock towers. I think it's pretty well made. So yeah, I have issues with the engine, right? That's one thing. I don't care. They send you a new engine. Seems like the warranty process is very simple. I was actually right on the end of the warranty time frame, and they said, don't worry about it, we're gonna take care of you. I really appreciate that, so thank you very much, Hobao USA. The only things are, I think the balance on the car is pretty awful right out of the box. If you try to jump this car, it just goes everywhere in the air. So you will have to play a lot with weight distribution, or as much as you can anyway, or shocks and all that stuff. I didn't like the balance very much. It is fun to drive because it's very powerful. It doesn't have a lot of grip, so it's fun. But from a racing perspective, it's not ideal. And yeah, it's not a racing car. It's a ready-to-run Nitro Buggy. So it's more of a basher, but it's a pretty good quality basher. I mean, it's $600 retail. Again, so we have the fact that it's horribly balanced, the fact that I had so many issues with the engine, and then check this out. The linkages were nowhere near being useful. So somebody that is not experienced, I guess if you're not experienced, you probably won't go for this car right away. But anyway, linkages were nowhere near being useful. The suspension from one side to the car to the other side of the car was not even put together the same way from factory. So I had a ton of camber on these wheels over here. The steering was completely wacky. The steering rack was completely loose out of the box. When I had the car on idle, screws were just falling off the car. I mean, for $600 and being a Hobao product, I'm just baffled by the lack of quality control. For sure, every time I get a buggy or a truggy or whatever it is, I check them. Sometimes I find loose screws, sometimes I find issues with the linkages, so on and so forth. But the fact that it was like all wacky the way they put it together at the factory, like it wasn't symmetrical from one side to the other, I was like, wow. I mean, yeah, I was just kind of like impressed, you know, for such an expensive ready-to-run buggy. Again, once you iron all those things out, it is pretty cool. I think it's very, very high quality. Maybe it is the best of the bashers, I will give it that. But you know, then you have the Serpent on the other hand, that is like over $100 cheaper, way higher quality. It drives almost like a race buggy out of the box. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Again, I have always been a customer and a fan of Hobao since the early 2000s, or even somewhere before that, Ofna, Hongnor. I like it. I think it's incredibly beefy, strong, well made. Just the quality control, I think, was, you know, it was lacking. Obviously, there's always going to be something little happening when you get one of these cars, regardless of the brand. I mean, I always came across needles completely out of whack, linkages out of whack, like loose screws in the suspension or in the chassis or whatever. So I'm not really complaining. I was just impressed. I mean, $600, and there was so many issues, like a broken pull start and then a bad front bearing on the engine. The engine itself, I inspected everything, is fine. It's just it came with a bad bearing, or when they press the bearing in, they damaged the seal. So those are my thoughts. I guess if you want a very strong, a very beefy and stout basher, this is your car. I mean, if you're willing to spend the $600, this is all you. You might have some issues like I did. Maybe I just got a bit of a lemon, if you will. If you're looking to maybe go racing, I will maybe just go for the Serpent. I wouldn't consider any of the other ones. I will just go straight for the Serpent, or maybe this one. So with that said, I want to be clear that Hobao Racing USA did help me, no questions asked. I mean, they did ask me for what the problem was. They sent the car first trying to fix the problem. I didn't think that was the case. I didn't think that was gonna fix the issue. I knew it was engine related. And when I heard that they were gonna send me an engine, I took this engine apart, and yes, I mean, that's what it was. So they did great. The only thing is, if you call Hobao Racing USA, and that kind of like, you know, kind of like set a red flag for me at the beginning. I called several times and it just goes to voicemail, and contacted them on Facebook and on their main website, which is not the USA website. They got a hold of me really quick. Multiple people got involved, and they said it doesn't matter about the warranty time, the time frame, we're gonna take care of you. So thank you very much again, Hobao Racing USA. You know, the cars have a lot of support. They have good customer service. They have been around for a long time. So I just wanted to share my experience with you exactly as it was, because even though I have been a fan of Hobao Racing for many years, this particular experience wasn't very neat. I just, you know, my first video was the Hyper SST, and everything went fine. The truck, it was beautiful. So when I got this, I expected exactly the same, and that wasn't the case. As you can see, I have the car here in pieces. I'm gonna put it together, and I'm gonna get into the next one. I don't know if it's gonna be the HPI Vorsa or maybe the HPI WR8, the rally car. I found another 1.8 Nitro Buggy that really caught my attention. I believe it's French, but it seems really good at a really good price. So we'll see what comes next. I mean, I'm just gonna keep doing them all, I guess. So that's what the channel is about. So I appreciate you guys subscribing, leaving comments, suggestions, all the good vibes and stuff. I really appreciate it. But you know, I like doing this, and I like the fact that you guys enjoy the videos and find them useful, at least to make up your mind when you're about to buy one of these models. Again, thank you very much. If you have any questions, any comments, just leave them down there. Any suggestions, any criticism, I'll take it all. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much.